Profit isn't an accident. I'm Shannon Howard. I'm the founder of Denali Edge Consulting, where we help contractors and service-based business owners keep more of what they earn, stress less, and build businesses that actually support their families. Today, I want to talk about a mistake almost every single business owner makes at some point. And if I'm being honest, it's a mistake I completely understand, because when you're trying to grow a business, saying yes feels productive. A lead comes in, a customer wants some help, the phone rings, an opportunity shows up, and your first instinct is, yes, absolutely, let's do it. After all, isn't that what we're supposed to do? Take more jobs, generate more revenue, stay busy, grow the business. But here's the problem. Not every job is a good job, and some jobs cost you far more than they make you. Today, I want to talk about the hidden cost of saying yes to every job, because the wrong jobs may be the very thing standing between you and the profit you're trying to create. Most business owners I talk to are busy. They're booked out, they've got a great reputation, they're doing everything right. But when they actually sit down and look at their numbers, something doesn't quite add up. The profit doesn't match the effort, and it's usually not a sales problem. It's a visibility problem. I'm Shannon Howard. I work with HVAC owners, electricians, plumbers, and contractors to uncover hidden profit, fix those leaks, and help you keep more of what you earn. This is Profit Isn't an Accident. I was talking with a business owner recently. Business was busy. His calendar was full. His crews were working, and revenue looked solid. But financially, things felt tight. And as we talked, I asked a simple question. I said, which jobs make you the most money? Silence. And then he laughed at me, and he said, honestly, I have no idea. Now, before we go and judge him, most owners don't know. They know which jobs bring in revenue. They know which jobs keep their crew busy. They know which customers call regularly, but they don't know which jobs actually create profit. And that is dangerous, because if you don't know which jobs are making you money, you probably don't know which jobs are costing you money either. And that's when I started seeing a pattern. Some of his biggest headaches were coming from customers that he couldn't seem to get rid of. The customers who called constantly, changed the scope, wanted discounts, questioned every invoice, or needed that special treatment. And somehow those were also the customers that were generating the least amount of profit. Does this sound familiar? One of the biggest mindset shifts, right, that business owners need to make is this. Busy is not the goal. Profit is the goal. Freedom is the goal. A healthy business is the goal. Because here's what happens. Many owners accidentally build businesses around activity instead of profitability. They become obsessed with more jobs, more estimates, more revenue, more customers, more trucks, more employees, more everything, because that's what's ingrained. But they never stop and ask, is more actually making me more money? And I've seen contractors add crews and make less profit. I've seen businesses double revenue and increase their stress. I've seen owners work 60 hours a week only to discover that they're making less than what they did when they were smaller. Growth is wonderful, but growth without profitability is just bigger problems. One of the fastest ways to create bigger problems is by taking jobs that you should have declined. So let's talk about a few red flags. The first one, you knew you should have said no. Come on. You know exactly what I'm talking about. The customer was difficult from the very beginning. The project wasn't really your specialty. The scope wasn't clear. And your gut was screaming at you. And you took it anyway. Every owner has done this. The second warning sign, the customer only cares about price. Now, don't misunderstand me. Everyone cares about price, but some customers care about nothing else. Those customers usually become your biggest headaches because if the only reason they chose you was because you were cheaper, what happens when someone else is cheaper next time? The third warning sign, the job is constantly changing. There's extra requests, there's additional work, there's moving targets, and there's new expectations. But somehow, nobody wants to pay for those changes. Those jobs destroy margins so fast. The fourth warning sign, your team hates the project. Business owners ignore this one. Your team knows, and you just kind of chalk it up to them being, complaining. But they know which customers are unreasonable. They know which projects are disasters. They know which jobs consume way more than they should. So pay attention. And the final warning sign, you finish the project and you wonder where all the money went. And that's usually your biggest clue. The most profitable business owners that I know, they don't ask, can we do this job? They just ask, should we do this job? And there's a huge difference because just because you're capable doesn't mean it's profitable. Just because revenue is attached to it doesn't mean it's helping the business. Profitable businesses understand something that most struggling businesses don't. Every yes is also a no. When you say yes to the wrong customer, you're saying no to a better customer. When you say yes to a low margin project, you're saying no to a higher margin opportunity. And when your team is tied up doing work that isn't profitable, they're unavailable for work that is. And the goal isn't to do more jobs. The goal is to do the right jobs, the jobs that create profit, the jobs that fit your expertise, the jobs that support the life that you're trying to build. Because here's the truth. You don't need every customer. You don't need every project. And you definitely don't need every headache. So before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one question. If you looked back at the last 12 months, which jobs would you never take again? I want you to seriously think about this. Which customers drained your energy? Which projects created stress? Which jobs looked good on paper but weren't worth it? Now ask yourself, what would happen if you stopped saying yes to these opportunities? Because sometimes profitability doesn't come from doing more. Sometimes profitability comes from finally getting clear on what not to do. And that's where real growth begins. So if today's episode got you thinking about your own business, I'd encourage you to spend some time reviewing your most profitable and least profitable jobs from the past year. You might be surprised what you find. And if you'd like help identifying where your profit is really coming from, head over to denaliedgeconsulting.com and schedule your free profit acceleration session. We'll help you uncover what's working, what's not, and where your biggest opportunities are hiding. So until next time, keep more, stress less, and always, always, always remember, profit isn't an accident. If this hit, there is a reason. Most businesses aren't broken. They just don't have clear visibility into where the money's actually going. So if you want help finding it, grab my free Profit Edge playbook or book a quick session with me. You'll find everything in the show notes. And if you haven't already, follow the show so you don't miss what's next.